Well, good morning, everyone. Once again, it's Gordon So, one of the co-founders here at Land for Success. And on behalf of my business partner, J. Jack Hanton, and all the amazing members here at Land for Success, I want to welcome one of our newest VIP members. And you're going to get a chance to hear from him in a minute. He is someone that I recently got to know at one of our film festivals. And what I love about him is, despite of the successes that he already has, right, in the community, in the speaking world, personal development, personal growth, leadership, etc. I love the humility that he has and the humbleness he has of being in a room where he not only can command the room himself, but he's there to help, to support the folks that are there, the community that's there. In the example of myself and our business partner with our film festivals and fashion shows. But more importantly, he's just an individual who cares. He really does care. So when he speaks on a stage, right? When he goes and speaks at a TED Talk in Europe, he not only goes there just to speak, he's there to make an impact with the folks that are around him. So today, I can't think of a better individual to spend some time with than Mr. Roger Sesser. Roger, welcome. Welcome to Land for Success.
Thank you very much. Gordon, it is a pleasure to be here with you. And before we get started, let's correct the last name, Caesar, so that they know.
Caesar, I'm sorry. I said Sesser, Caesar. That's what happens when you get an immigrant kid from Hong Kong who can't pronounce or announce properly, right?
That is okay, my friend. That is okay.
Okay.
How you doing?
I am doing amazing. It was great seeing you on the weekend at the fashion show.
Yeah. It was awesome to see everybody, a lot of familiar faces, and getting to know new people that I didn't know. So it was wonderful to schmooze, as they say.
That's amazing. I want to jump right into it. Would you mind sharing with our folks here in the Land for Success community, who is Roger Sesser?
Wow. I am a professional speaker. I'm an author as well as a world-class speaking coach. And to learn about who I am, well, I didn't start this way. It wasn't my journey that I thought I would ever be on. Truth be told, I was an athlete growing up. And when I took over the family business that we had, I realized very quickly that I did not know how to effectively communicate in a senior role. Dealing with executives, CEOs, and others, I had to learn how to communicate with them in a different light from just being the regular son of the person that was the owner of the company. And so I took a lot of years and time to learn how to speak, learn that I had the gift of gab, became a champion on multiple occasions, and recently placed third in the world at the World Championship of Public Speaking. And that catapulted me to start a new business, which is what I have now. So it's Caesar Empire Speaking and Coaching, where I am building an empire of captivating communicators and helping people develop their voices and find the greatness within themselves.
Wow, I love it, right? The new Caesar Empire.
That's right.
Communications is so important, isn't it? I recently just wrote a book on a concept called red apples, green apples, and rotten apples. Not that people are rotten, right? But communication is so important. And you just mentioned your family business, and you got thrust into a new role that you weren't familiar with.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about that. Would you mind sharing a little bit about what was that experience like when you were all of a sudden put in a role of having to lead your family's business and then having to learn how to communicate?
Yeah, my father was very big on making sure that you learn the business from the ground up. So he wasn't the type of person that would put me in a managerial role right away. So I had to, the family business that we had was in the trucking industry. And so I had to learn it from the ground up. And I truly appreciated him for that. It really helped me to develop a lot of skills that I didn't know I needed. But in the process, 20 years ago, my dad said to me that, I think that you're ready. And that was a wonderful feeling, yes, but also it was the coming of the changing of the guard, so to speak. Out was my father, who lived traditionally by a handshake and a smile, and that was good enough. And to the way that we now know that there's so much more that you have to do, and communication is a huge part of that. So I took my marketing skills from going to university and getting a degree in marketing, and then as well learning that I had to develop that special skill of speaking. And yes, in the beginning, it was just to compete on various speaking stages. But then in business, it really was effective in how I dealt with situations, whether they were complicated, whether it was a challenge, whether it was just simply giving good advice to my employees or to others that I came in contact with. Learning how to communicate effectively was key in doing that. And I also help, as a part of me being a coach, I help clients from different walks of life, whether they are CEOs, executives, whether they are entrepreneurs starting off, or if it's someone who's just beginning their speaking journey. I help them to learn how to be properly, or how to properly communicate in whatever field or whatever life they choose to go through.
Wow. That's absolutely incredible. Let's jump into then the speaking world, because I'm told, Roger, that Napoleon Hill talks about the 6 elusive fears, right? But some of the biggest fears that people have, and I had it, it's death and taxes, or speaking in front of a live audience.
That's right. They actually say, Gordon, that public speaking comes before even death, right? As the number one fear. And I learned that very quickly when I was on those stages, how scared, and even the clients that I've had, how nervous they really get. And they're successful. Like, keep that in mind. These are people who are successful in their own right in what they have been able to accomplish. But if you ask them to go on stage and to explain what they do, a lot of times they're nervous. And I'm not trying to put a blanket on everybody. There are a lot of people out there who can communicate very well and know how to explain their business. But there are those that I work with who are most of the time behind the scenes and have others who will speak, but they are brilliant-minded people.
Wow. And why do you think that's so? Especially, like, you mentioned people are so accomplished, and they're so successful that they're building very successful business. You mentioned the trucking industry. We have an individual who's a VIP member with us, and he had talked about borrowing money to start a trucking business many years ago, and he grew it to a point where he sold the company for $200 million. Right. But so you look at an individual like that today, and he's so accomplished. He's got a investment arm now where they invest in entrepreneurs and startups, but yet having them now speak publicly becomes a challenge for them. Why do you think that's so?
It's a whole different monster all on its own. The idea of learning to be able to get out there in front of a large audience and share your ideas and your thoughts and your expertise sometimes can be very intimidating. Listen, the first time I went out there and I spoke, it wasn't easy. I got scared, sweat profusely, didn't know if I was going to say the right things at the right time. And then after, what ends up happening is you leave the stage and you go, oh my God, I could have said this, I could have said that. I know what I was talking about. And in fact, I got a story to tell you. That is exactly the genesis of why I started speaking. I walked into a supervisor's office that was brand new to one of our longstanding customers. And when I got in there and I thought, hey, I'm the owner of the company. This is easy. I'll just introduce myself and we'll have a great conversation and it'll be over. I realized he was an introvert very quickly. And I did not know how to talk to him in a way that would generate a conversation. And so for 5 minutes, which felt like 5 hours, we sat there basically trying to figure out what to say. And the looks, it was this look like, are you going to get the conversation going? Are you going to say something? And both of us sat there dumbfounded. And I walked out of there feeling very, very foolish and intimidated. And that was the reason why I said I never wanted to feel that intimidated anywhere, any place, at any time again. And then that's what kind of started and sparked this whole journey that I'm on right now. But a lot of times you will have high-ranking executives, CEOs, who would rather have someone else be the front or the spokesperson to do all the speaking than them. And those are the type of people I love working with, because they go from that resistance stage where they say, I don't think I can go out there and do it, to the resilience stage where they say, I can't believe I actually have the ability to speak like this.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. I wish I had you when I started, Roger, because I remember one of the first times I had to speak in front of an audience or a group. I stood up, I went to open my mouth, and it was like, nothing came out, right? It was kind of like I stood up, but my brain sat back down.
Yeah. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So as you started your speaking career now, tell us about Toastmaster. I mean, there's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people in Toastmaster.
Mm-hmm.
So being part of that winning team, the top 3 at a world championship, that is no small feat at all. Tell us about that. Like, tell us about, were you nervous? Were you excited? Like what happened there? How did you become in the top of Toastmaster?
Well, first of all, for those who may not know what Toastmasters is an organization that helps people to learn their communication and leadership skills, and they are all over the world. I can't give you the exact number of members, but there are well over 300,000 members in Toastmasters all over the world. You go through different stages when it comes to competing. As I stated, I was an athlete growing up, so the competitive spirit in me was always there. All I needed was somebody to say, hey, I think you could do this. And that was all it took. And that gentleman, I always give credit to him. His name was Sanjay Sharma. When I did my very first speech in the program, he came up to me, put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, you know what? I could see you being a champion one day. And every time I went up and I spoke, he'd give me that look that said, yeah, you could do this.
Wow.
And that was kind of that nudge. And sometimes that's what we need, right? Gordon, yes. We need somebody that sees something in us that we're not seeing in ourselves. Another set of eyes, a voice that gives you that encouragement that says you can do it. And so I started competing in various competitions in Toastmasters. And, some of them were in the beginning, I lost badly, but the encouragement was there from members, from people like Sanjay and others. And I went on to win 7 speech titles in the district.
Wow, 7.
7.
Roger, I mean, you probably heard people say 7 is the number of perfection, right?
Yes.
7, that's wonderful, my friend.
Yeah, so I went on to that. And so just to explain to people, when it comes to the competition, especially when it comes to the international speech contest, which is pretty much the Olympics of speech competitions, you have to go through 7 rounds. So I know we're bringing in the number 7 a lot here, but we go to 7 rounds. It starts at the club level and it goes all the way up to the World Championship of Public Speaking final stage. I have been very blessed to have made it to 4 semifinals. So I got through 6 rounds and I've gotten to the semifinals 4 times of the World Championship of Public Speaking. And in 2021, I finally cracked the final stage. And on my first try there, I placed 3rd in the world. So it's a long, tedious process. makes you, doubt yourself at times. It has you sitting in corners, wondering if this is the journey that you want to go on. It's the repetition of your speech. It's the questioning. It's the asking others to help. I had a great coach in Catherine McKenzie who was phenomenal in helping me and guiding me throughout this process. But the jubilation that comes when you finally get to that top of the mountain and you realize, hey, I did it. I finally did it after all these years of working hard at my craft. Getting to that moment where you can stand and say you're top 3 in the world was absolutely amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations. So somebody says, Roger, how do I get to the top 3? If somebody if somebody said that to you right now, what would you say to them, and how are you able to maybe help them get started? Or maybe not even just somebody getting started, somebody who's already speaking, right? But they just need that Sanjay in their life that says, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
And you're the new Sanjay. I've seen it. I've seen you, pointing people and say, you too can step into your greatness.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And that comes with 3 things. I want to emphasize this. It's persistence, perseverance, and patience.
Wow. Would you mind repeating those? Would you mind repeating those 3 P's again? That is so important.
Yeah. Sure. Those 3 P's are perseverance, persistence, and patience. You have to persevere through anything. There are going to be times, and I've had it happen to me, where I doubt that this is the journey that I should be on, but it's consistently persevering through all of the challenges that may happen, the self-doubts that happen, the ups and downs, the falls that may occur, the defeats. That's the big thing. We tend to want to just give up at that moment, and I chose not to. And then there is the persistence. It's the constant working on your craft. And what I did was I looked at proficient speakers in and around, whether they were in my club or in the district themselves, and I would study how they were on stages. I would study the things that made them connect with an audience. I would go onto YouTube and other places where I'd find other speakers that weren't related to Toastmasters, but I would see what it is that they did that was captivating, that helped them to achieve the success that they had. So I was always working on my craft, the persistence of working hard at your craft. And then patience is understanding that not everything comes just like that, that you have to really work hard, develop your skills, and have the wherewithal to know that, hey, if something doesn't go right here, ask someone. Be that type of person that is not afraid to ask someone for help. So have the patience to know that you have to go through this process. It takes time, but the journey is far better than the destination, as they say, or you go through this entire process. And sometimes here you'll see, oh my gosh, I remember when this happened, and that was the moment that everything changed. So it's having patience not to give up.
Wow. Help! One of the hardest things to
believe me, that was the hardest thing to say, is to just ask for help, man.
Just ask for help, right? Wow. And folks, if you guys are watching, you're thinking, I want to become the next Roger Caesar. I want to be able to be a better communicator. And maybe you're like Roger mentioned earlier, you're going to be thrust into a leadership role that you weren't expecting. And then speaking isn't necessarily always just speaking in front of an audience, but you guys know, the better you speak, the better you communicate. Right? The better you're going to be able to lead your team, even with just leading one person in front of a computer, developing something that can help somebody else, right? Being able to communicate is so important. Roger, a lot of people dream about being on a TEDx stage. You did it, my friend. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience that you just recently had?
Yeah, Gordon, this is my 3rd time, actually.
3rd time?
My 3rd time speaking at TEDx.
Wow.
the
You
first
need
two
to write a
times.
book. You need to do a documentary on you,
Oh yes,
right?
and we, I'm an author. I have a book called Speak to Inspire. It's co-authored with Victoria Sokolova. The two of
Wow.
us have had our fair share of success. She was very successful and was an organizer for TEDx. She's done multiple TEDx, and then myself being from the World Championship of Public Speaking stages and also performing on TEDx, we decided to come together and give tips and tricks on how to develop your skills to be able to be impactful when you do go on those types of stages and the other ones, whether it's in the boardroom or simply in front of 4 people in a room. How do you become impactful as speakers? So the book that we have is called Speak to Inspire. But to answer your question, this was the one TEDx that you have on your bucket list that you can go somewhere else in the world and to speak. And I had the opportunity just 2 weeks ago. I think is it 2 weeks ago or about a week and a half ago? I went to Germany and
Wow.
I
We
spoke
just missed
there.
each other. I was in Germany like what, a month and a half ago?
Oh, yeah, see, we should have
I
been there. We
I
should have
should
been
have,
there. You should have been there.
right? I should have said, "Hey, Roger, teach me, coach me, help me to
Yeah,
become a TEDx speaker, and I can come along with you." I missed out.
yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. I shared the stage with 8 other, no, 10 other speakers who shared their ideas, their expertise. It was wonderful. When I got on there, my talk was all about turning your resistance into resilience. I'm looking forward to the day that it's published and it's out there. But it was a lot of fun. The audience was very, very welcoming, I'd say, and we really were able to pull out a lot of emotion from the audience with what I said. And overall, I totally enjoyed it. I mean, it is a process to get to TEDx and get on their stages, but when you get there and you're on that stage, there are very few stages that I have stepped on that, number one, intimidates you, but at the same time exhilarates you. Right?
I
That's what
don't
I'd
think
say.
I can't see anything intimidating you. Are you sure? Like, what intimidates Roger? Come on, come on.
Well, no, listen, Gordon, I'm going to be very honest. Like I said, in that moment when I was in that executive's office, and I said to myself, I had the mindset, I said, I will never be intimidated anywhere, any place, at any time again. I don't want
Wow.
to. And I worked hard at that. I really
Yes.
did. Do I get nervous? Of course, I'm human. But I've learned how to, as they say, let my butterflies fly in formation so they don't
Wow.
go all over the place. But when you step on a stage like that, a TEDx stage, and you know the brand, you know how many other very, very successful people have stood on these stages. Yes, there's a part of you that says, man, don't mess up. Have fun here. Do what you got to do. Leave a good message. Leave an idea that will resonate in the minds of others. So there's that little part of you that is a little intimidated, saying, okay, make sure we do it right. But yeah, I was ready. It was a moment that I wanted.
Amazing. Born ready, right? Born ready.
Yeah.
So uh, you're an author, you're an international speaker, you're a
Yes.
world champion.
Yes.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
And none of that, Gordon, none of that. Let me say this to everyone here. I didn't go there looking to be these things, but you know what I did, Gordon? I kept my mind open, and I always use the metaphor of a car. You're the drivers of your life. You sit in the driver's seat, you put on your seatbelt, and you don't have a destination. But what you do is you leave the road open to see where you may end up, and never stop yourself from exploring. This is what I did. I didn't leave myself in a position where I said, this is all I'm going to do, and that's it. I kept my mind and myself open to any possibility. And this is why I'm where I am today. There was a lot of hardships. There were a lot of failures. There were a lot of moments where I doubted myself. But I also had great people who were passengers in that same vehicle with me. And they don't always stay, right? They don't always stay. You're driving for a long time. They may stay for just a day. They may stay for metaphorically a week in your car. But at the end of the day, there are people that come in and out of your life, and they're the passengers, and they give you advice, whether they are good or bad, but they help you on this journey. And if you keep your mind open to wherever it may take you, you have no idea what this nice little ride in this car of yours can get you.
Wow, that's amazing. They say some people are here for a day, and some people are there, with you for life.
For a lifetime, yes.
For a lifetime,
yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you, in terms of a lifetime, where do you see what's next for you, Roger? What do you think is next for you in your speaking career?
Well, I've always put on my mirror in my bathroom, I have on a big picture, Roger Caesar, Mr. International. And I put that there many years ago as where I see myself being on stages all over the world. I've been blessed right now to have the opportunities to do that. I've been to Ireland. I've been to Romania. I went to Romania right after I went to Germany. I jumped on a plane right after my TED Talk, and I went to to Romania, and I spoke at the parliament there.
Wow.
So I had the opportunity to be in it's massive, but again, I had the opportunity to do that because I allowed myself, and I said to myself that I want this type of journey to happen for me. And I've been to Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica. I've spoken in so many different places around the world, plus in the US in various locations. I want that for myself on a personal level, but for my business, I want to attract people who are wanting to learn how to become effective and captivating communicators. I want them to see that they can go from that resistance stage and say that, you know what, I don't think I can, to that resilient stage that says, man, I know I've got every bit of the ability to become great on stages, whatever stage that may be. So I want to be with people who want to learn how to be impactful communicators, to do what they have to do when they get on stage and to develop that voice and find the greatness within them.
That's incredible. Persistence, hardship. I think one of my favorite quotes, Roger, from Napoleon Hill is, see if I can quote this properly: every adversity, every heartache, every failure, right, comes with a seed of equal or greater opportunity. So you mentioned about some of the hardships you had getting there. Could you maybe share a story of what you would consider kind of a struggle or hardship on your way to finding these stages? Because I love it. I'd be like, Roger, can we talk this week? No, Gordon, I'm going to be in I have a speaking engagement out of the country. I'm going to be in the Caribbean. I'm going to be in Europe. It almost sounds like I could never be like Roger. He's got it made. So how, right? Like you don't have adversity to get speaking engagement. Is that all true? Like what share with us the story.
No, it's not all true. It's not always flowers and sunshine to get to this point. I go to a lot of networking events as well. And Gordon, I've had times when I literally did not get a contract or a speaking engagement that I really wanted to do. And sometimes it's just not your time. You could be disappointed. There's nothing wrong with that. And I have been, but I also stop and I step back and I say, there's that persistence. That's the perseverance portion of it, and the patience, right, that comes in, that I need to understand that, you know what, this is just not for me right now. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay, because something else is going to come. And I've had those moments where it didn't work. Hell, listen, Gordon, I have been on stages and screwed up completely my speech, screwed it up, and got off the stage feeling like, geez, you know what? They asked me to come here and to speak, and I feel like I let them down. And although you'll have people that might come up to you and say, "Oh, that was really good. That was really good." You know, there's that self-analyzing moment that you do, and you say to yourself, that wasn't my best performance. But I'm always a huge critic of myself. I really work hard at seeing if I can improve every single time I go out there. But it also starts with going to these networking events, your events that I go to, and speaking to people, developing some relationships with people. I was at your event on Saturday, and there was a lady there. Here, two incidences that happened there. There was a lady there who came up to me and said, "Oh, you're Roger Caesar, the speaker, the professional speaker." And I didn't know her, but she had seen me in an audience speaking at an event and always kept me on her radar, and said to me that night when I was there that she will be reaching out to me. And in fact, she has reached out to me.
Wow, that's amazing.
The relationships that we built, not only from within the room, but as well on the stages that I was on. And then there was another gentleman who I posted, and you might have seen it. He had been following me for years. I never met him, but he'd been following me all these years, and really being a huge support of mine. And he finally met me, and it was like Christmas to him.
Wow.
It's so gratifying, and it feels it's blessing in disguise that I can do that to someone's life, that my messages or my posts that I do, whether I think it's very simple, it might be the words that someone needed to hear on that particular day. And that's what I've learned about what we do as speakers. It's not about having the entire masses go crazy over you. Yes, the ego wants that. The ego says, I would love if everybody loves me. But as a speaker, what is most important to me is when I leave that stage, if I had one person come up to me and say, you have ultimately changed my perspective on what I do from this point on, you have changed my life, you have made me realize that I can move forward. If I'm able to do that, that's the win. That to me is the win right there.
That's incredible. Roger, and you have blessed a lot of people. And you talk about simplicity, but when I see some of your videos, they're from the heart, like the stuff that you post. And I think that's the realness. I was going to use the word authentic. I think sometimes we use the word authentic and don't even really know what it really means, but you're real, right? And what you mentioned is what you're saying, that moment in time can mean something to that specific person in that moment in time. And I think for me, that's why I love talking and speaking as well. Do I want to speak in front of 10, 20,000 people? Of course. So if anybody out there would like to write Roger and I a check and you want us to come and speak to your organization, we're there, right? But at the same time, even if we can just change the life of one person at a time, events are really important. You mentioned you meet people at events. Right, we have film festivals, we have fashion shows, we have business expos. We're going to have speaking.
Yes.
How to be an effective speaker? How to be a coach where people actually want to give you money for coaching, give you money for speaking, and we're looking forward to Roger, you becoming part of my team here at Land for Success, where we can actually introduce individuals to you, and then just through how genuine you are, they're going to make that decision and say, man, like, this is my Sanjay. Like, Roger's my Sanjay. And I believe this is the individual that can help me get out of my shell, not only start speaking, but make an impact and a difference in people's lives and my business. I wanted to, thank you for your time. And I want to come back and actually deep dive more into maybe topics that mean that's important to you and how you think the folks who are watching and listening can benefit from learning some of the strategies you have to become a better speaker. But for now, I thought, I want to wrap this up, Roger, maybe with just some rapid questions. When I speak, sometimes, like even now, I don't have anything scripted, right? Just talk to the heart. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions so our folks get to know who's Roger. Other than the guy who's like a world champion speaker, a TEDx speaker, an international speaker, like, man, I I can't keep track of that, right? It's incredible.
Yeah.
But I want to know who's Roger, right? Roger, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue, okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Chocolate.
Chocolate, okay. What's your favorite sport?
Track and field.
Track and
Number
field.
one. That's what I got my scholarship and everything for. So yes.
Oh, you had a in the U.S. scholarship in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's incredible. We had at our film festival 2 years ago, Ben Johnson.
Can I give a quick story about that? Can I give a quick story about him?
Absolutely.
Really quick story. When I would come to Toronto and compete at York University when I was growing up on the indoor circuit, we were there training, and one day Ben Johnson is there with the other athletes. And the reason why Ben has such a soft spot in my heart is because here are teenagers practicing their starts and practicing their takeoffs. And Ben took 5 minutes, sat down with us, and helped us to learn how to do it properly. He didn't have to do that. He just saw us there training, and he came over and he started talking to us. And I will always remember that moment with him. That's all. I just wanted to say that.
I love it, right? The humility, right? And just being willing to give back. I love he spent the whole time with us. Like he was there in the morning, the afternoon. He dominated the red carpet.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
There were people who just absolutely want to have their pictures taken with them.
Right.
And then he stayed for the after party. I think he was there till about midnight. It was just incredible. So my last question for you, Roger, is if you could do one thing, like today, if you could do one thing for Roger, because I know you're always out there wanting to do something for other people, your clients, the folks you're going to serve on stage in Parliament in Europe, I think in Romania, or you're stepping on that stage with other like-minded leaders at the TEDx in Essen. You're always constantly like, how can you help somebody else? Do something else for somebody else. Like you called me on Saturday, or you texted me and said, Gordon, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, right? So I'm going to reverse. Here's the question. If today you could just do one thing, that's for Roger, what would you do?
Man, you stumped me on this one. The only thing I could think of was for myself to take some time for me. I don't do that often enough.
Okay.
I don't sit down and just take moments just for myself to go out and just have a little fun for me. I know that may not be the wonderful answer that you were probably looking for, but I find that I drain my energy so much in giving to others and helping others out and getting on stage. And when I'm on stages, you will see that dynamic energy that I bring every single time, but I don't take time to rest and to just have moments where it's just about me. So I think that would be the one thing that I would need to learn how to do, or to have moments when I could just maybe go on a vacation and just not doing anything at all. Would I do that though, Gordon?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think that's the one thing I would want to try to do.
That's important, right? Because burnout. Yeah. Everyone burns out. You had a great chat with one of our VIP members, Dr. Haley Patry.
Yes.
Right.
Shout
and Haley is so
nice.
Amazing. As a coach, you're a speaker. So I already see that collaboration of how you guys are going to benefit not only the members in Atlanta for Success, but our friends and family and clients. Because, Haley's talking about as a coach, and you heard the story, she's got 3 young kids in her family she's got to look after. And yet as a coach, she works less than 28 hours a week. She sets her boundaries. So she finds time for family, vacation, etc. Less than 28 hours a week and still makes a 6-figure income. So when people say to me, well, I got this person, I get paid 10, 20, 30,000 for a certification. Should I do it? And my answer is, you can do whatever you want. But it was me. I called somebody just down the road, just down the street, that I don't have to fly right, to India, or not that I don't want to go there, or California, I can go to
Right.
somebody down the road. And like you, I can go to somebody down the road and say, Roger, what do I do? But burnout is so, it's easy to get burnout. It's easy to do things that maybe we shouldn't be doing when we could actually take time for ourselves. So if you could take time for yourself right now, what would you do?
You know what? It's crazy. My parents live in the Caribbean, and oftentimes, if I get the chance to go there, I don't go and visit anybody. I just would love to sit by the Caribbean Sea and just have a moment where in my own thoughts, just learning about myself, learning about what I can do better to, better myself in some way, shape, or form, but just to relax and listen,
Love it.
just to listen.
You had me at mom, and then you had me at the Caribbean, right? By the sea. That's incredible. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I'm
for
curious how
sure.
many of our friends are watching right now that are maybe thinking the same. Like time. Time is one of the only thing we can't buy back.
That's right.
Once it's gone, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you for watching.
Can I
You
give
can
a shout out to them? Can I give, if they want to reach out to me or anything like that? Can I also do that?
absolutely. We're gonna make sure it's all posted as well.
Okay,
With all
beautiful.
your links, all your connection, everywhere they're going to be able to get a hold of you. But if you want to share quickly, Roger, what's the
Yeah,
best
of
way
course.
to
Of course.
connect
I'm on
with you?
LinkedIn. Just spell my last name correctly. CAESAR. I'm on LinkedIn. You can get me at CaesarEmpire.com as well. I'm on Facebook, Facebook, Instagram at Caesar.empire. Reach out to me. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to learn about you and your stories and your goals and where you see yourself when it comes to getting on stages.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And stories are so important. You have an incredible story, my friend. And I know a lot of our folks here, they want to learn how to tell their story as well so they can make an impact. And please, you guys, do reach out to Roger. I know he's going to be someone that would be in our community that will help folks not just speak, but actually build confidence, right? People buy from people who are confident. Would you guys agree with that? So, Roger, any final thoughts just before we go? Any final thoughts?
First and
Final
foremost,
message you want to leave?
thank you very much, Gordon, for allowing me to be on this platform. But to all of you out there, just to understand how valuable you are, whether you are a professional right now or you are just starting off and wanting to learn how to effectively communicate, your voice is important. It is valuable, and so are you. If you have the opportunity to get out there and to share your message, share your stories, if you have an opportunity to lift a company up because of your ability to speak effectively and impactful, please do so. The voice that you have will be the voice that will save others tomorrow. And I want to be there to help you one step at a time. Take care.
Wow. Thank you so much, Roger. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And until next time, everyone, have an amazing, amazing day.
Awesome. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.